All right. I'm also going to make the recordings. If you want me to make the recordings for the lesson available to you, I'm definitely going to be posting them on the channel. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you want to actually do that so that you can go there for anything that's there. And also I'll be putting up different content that should support you along the way on different topics relating to IT. All right, so that would be quite helpful. All right, so let's get into today's lesson. We will be looking at output devices as mentioned. So we're going to look at it just a bit more in details. Much of what we say here may just be a repetition of some things we have said, but one good thing about teaching is that we get a chance to reinforce learning and all of that. All right, nice. Also, all right. All right, so let's get right into that. Cool. All right. So yeah, output devices. All right, great. So my objectives today, and I always want to clarify the objectives because that's how you can determine what you need to know and if you have learned anything in the lesson. So this is always your measuring stick. All right. So you should be able to describe different output devices. That's my goal. You should also be able to explain how each output device can be applied to solve real-world problems. So why do we have output devices? What purpose do they actually serve in the various devices that they're actually on, okay? And then we want to kind of justify the selection of output devices based on performance, cost, accessibility, and purpose. So why would I buy one type of monitor versus one type of monitor? Obviously, this is going to help us to make the decision. The performance of it, the cost of it, how accessible it is, and also what the purpose of it. So those are going to be key in our discussion. So when we talk about output devices, yeah, we have some examples on screen. What would you describe these as? If you were to give me a definition for output device, what would you say?
Sir, our output device is it can display information to a user, whether it's by seeing or hearing.
Fabulous. What about the speak or display? Display seems to suggest showing, right? Because a speaker would be more on the hearing side, but I get it. All right. So I'd probably use a word called interacting. All right. So the purpose of these, right, output device is to take output produced by the computer and turn it into a form that humans can understand. You might want to have that fancy definition somewhere, all right? So output devices take data that is produced by the computer and turn it into a form that humans can understand. So whether that's, as you mentioned earlier, we can hear in terms of sound or in terms of text because we can actually read it, all right? So we have written or spoken text, that is output. So basically, the output device allows us to see or to hear, which means to interact with the output that was actually created. The output can either be written or spoken text. So in the context of what is on screen here, that is written text, but you are also hearing me speak to you as well. So that is also spoken. So that in itself is still output. Now, image on a screen, all of these images that we see on the screen, these are also classified as output. The reason why we're able to see them is because of an output device called a screen or a monitor. All right. And there's also music. Most of us listen to music and, of course, multimedia presentation. There's two words I want to introduce here. It's not on my presentation, but it's on your syllabus. Hard copy and soft copy. Now, soft copy are those intangible outputs. So, for example, the written text on the screen. I cannot lift up the text of the screen, can I? I can't really touch it. The spoken words that you're hearing coming from my mouth through your speaker, you cannot take that up and you cannot touch that. All right. So we call that soft copy, means it's intangible. And then we have what is called hard copy. Hard implies physical. It is something that you can take up. So whatever comes from a printer or a plotter that comes on a paper becomes a hard copy. So if you were to print something to take in to school as your homework, that is hard copy. However, the work that you complete for me and submit to me, that is soft copy because that's not something that is tangible. All right, is that clear? 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 Everybody happy with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So remember to interact with me and tell me when you don't understand or when I'm good. All right. I just want to make sure you're getting the points as we're going across. Cool. So there are different types of output devices. I want to point out a couple of them here, but we will point out some later on. So there are screens, right? Those are screens, whether they're on your phone, on your calculator, whether you go to the ATM machine and you can look how much money print out on your screen, that's output device, whether it is a printer that you use to print your work or the printer that is attached to the ATM and it prints out your receipt to see how much money you have actually withdrawn. These are what we call output device. And the screen basically allow you to see what is being displayed to you, the data that is produced by that computer or by the embedded system. All right. Now there's three types of monitors. On your syllabus, they will want me to speak about CRT and LCD. But because we live in the real world, I will also speak about organic LED. Why? You could get in the exam that you're asked to name a screen. You'll definitely be able to name OLED. All right. And we don't just want to prepare you for IT in the limited scope of a syllabus, because one of the things we say with syllabuses is that they have been written in the past. The syllabus you are currently using, right? I used that same syllabus how many years ago? Donkey years ago. It's almost 25 years ago. I use the same syllabus that you are currently using to study. What that means is that a lot of things have updated since that time, all right? But the syllabus is not keeping pace with reality. All right, cool. So I will talk about OLED in a little while. We will also talk about printers. In the context of your syllabus, they will want us to speak about impact printers and non-impact printers. These are categories. I will speak about them more, but in terms of examples of printers, we have laser inkjet dot matrix. They do not have 3D on your syllabus. Again, your syllabus is a little bit outdated, but in reality, we have 3D printers. I want to mention those so that when you are articulating, you are sounding as an up-to-date IT student. Okay. Now, there's also multimedia projectors, which some of you would see in your schools. In my days, it was a big thing. It was new technology. We were amazed. We were tired of the blackboard. You all don't even know what blackboard is. And now you know what blackboard is with chalk. That don't in your days. You have marker and whiteboard. All right. We had to go school and have blackboard and teacher throw chalk at us when we were talking. Right. Those are the days. When they brought what looked like new technology was multimedia projectors. But in most modern day first world schools, what you're going to have is more smart screens that you are going to find there. But we're going to speak about multimedia, even though it is an old technology. Some of you even have them at church. All right. We also have computer speakers. So the reason why you're hearing me, whether you're using a phone or a computer, you have what is called an inbuilt speaker, but you may also have an external speaker. Jamaica love to keep party and put up them big old box and all that. Them still them do something like Jamaica, or them still have some look nice one pan car. I don't know. when I was back in Jamaica, they had those very big box that they would use to disturb everybody and keep us from sleeping on Sunday night. Yes, so those are speakers. They are output devices. All right. I'm going to mention actuators, and actuators are simply just devices that are used to control. So if you have an AC at home, them I want to AC controller with a little screen. We call them actuator. All right, cool. So those are there, and they're not only on those; they are on different devices. Could be simple devices that they are used to control. So let's talk a little bit about screen. It's good for you to have a nice definition of screen. So a screen is a display area of a computer, a smartphone, or other device where information is visually presented. All right, nice compact definition this, right? So whether that's on your calculator, is that little area that allows for data to be shown. No, it is the interface through which users see and interact with the system. What we're simply saying is that without any screen, you couldn't see me, I couldn't see you, and plus you couldn't see anything on screen. So you would have to rely on your ears and rely on the fact that me can speak clearly so you can understand. So what screen really does is broaden our opportunity to interact with computer devices or embedded systems. We can actually see. And I know you guys would have heard statements when teachers saying things like there are different type of learners. Some of us learn through seeing and some learn through hearing and some are very good with linguistic intelligence and all of these things. Had it not been for screen, what would we be using to show on this platform this evening? So screens are absolutely important. So when you run a program, we wrote some program last week. When you run those programs, everything that you see, and programs don't just mean the ones we were writing, it means Zoom, it means Facebook, TikTok, right? Every time you click on one of those to activate, it is what we call run and execute a program. Because there's really a program that is being executed. What we are simply saying is that all the windows, the buttons, the images, the text, everything where you can see, they are displayed on a screen. And had there not been for screen, we would not be able to do this. Okay? Now, one of the questions I was intending to ask, but because I answered it on the screen, I'm just going to explain. What would be the impact of having no screen? All right? If we have no screen, there would be no visual interaction. That's one thing. Users would not be able to see what the computer is doing, and there will also be an increased reliance on other interfaces, such as maybe speaker, because we'd have to do more speaking and listening, right? Because we couldn't see. And then if you think about entertainment, how would I get to the movie theater? Anybody go movie theater anymore? That is that still a thing? People go there, or you guys just Netflix and chill? And prime TV and chill, those kind of things. So you see where screens plays a critical role in our entertainment. Yes, it is what we use. Playing games again. Nobody want to go play football out of the everybody want to play FIFA, right? Yes. So screens. As a Colton we say no. It seems like Colton is like a footballer, right? So excellent. So without screens, gaming, movie, graphic design, visual media, those would be impossible. So we can all argue today. If I was to ask you to make a comprehensive argument for why we need screens, having had this presentation today, you should be a stronger defender of that position. Now, there are different types of screens. Now, there's LCD monitors and there is organic LED screens. There's also CRT screens, which is on your syllabus. So we're going to make sure so we talk about it a little more. So let's kind of help you to understand the difference between LCD and OLED. What the real difference? Now, if you were to pull that screen apart, you would probably find in there different LEDs. You see them something right there? So light emitting display. That's what it stands for. So you notice there are different colors, right? If you were to unpack it, that's what you would see. Now, behind it would be what is called a backlight. The light then shines through, yeah? Light shine through. And then it results in all the fancy stuff where you see on screen. All right. So it is the light shining through that allows for this. So let's put that a little bit more formal. LCD monitors contain a group of red, green, and blue diodes. Them something we are talking about. These are called diodes. And this is what actually form pixels. So the more tightly fit the pixels are together, the better the resolution. Right? So when you look on a picture and it well grainy, you look at the screen and it grainy. Never go look for your grandmother and see one of them old time TV. Can they still turn on those one they used to wind up to something and turn it? And then you only used to have two station TVJ and CVM, and you turn it over there so on TVJ now work and you flash it back to CVM and it now work and you have to just go to do go play Dandy Shandy because no TV not working. All right. And when it do work, a pure grain and pepper grain are run. That is part of the kind of mechanism in those screens. The pixels were the best. So the resolution was also not the best. All right. But with LCD, these ones came out around 2000, maybe 2002. Ono di ban it? Ono di ban 2002? Jesus, peace. What me doing? All right, good. So the screen is
Not so
back.
old, sir.
Say again?
We're not that old.
Not that old. That time I was in high school. So that means you're telling me I'm getting old. That's what you're trying to tell me in a cold time, that I'm old. So,
Well, you're not young, are you?
I still consider myself a very young man. So the screen is backlit, as I said, using emitting diodes, light emitting diodes. So you see, that's where the light shines through these and give you the lovely resolution that you see. All right. So light emitting diodes, which is what LEDs are tiny electronic lights that shine when electricity passes through them. All right. That's how we end up with the fancy thing that you're seeing. So when you go to a computer lab or you look at your small laptop or whatever, thankfully we are now using liquid crystal display, you need to remember that it has a backlight, and then in the middle we have LEDs which we shine through them, and that is what allows us to see clearly. And that's why those screens are a little bit more advanced than the screens when I tell you about with the grainy something then. All right, cool. Now let's talk about what are some of the advantages over older technology. And by older technology, CRT I'm talking about, and me not even there yet, but I'm going to talk about it shortly. Now, why was LCD necessary? Why, when they brought LCD in Knox College computer room for the first time in 2002, at the time we had a teacher called Mr. Joseph, why we were so excited? Jesus, peace, we is so glad. Because the screen them they look brighter and the picture them look real. You know, they didn't look old and vague. We never look for some old time video clip yet and just look how them old and distant. Can just imagine when we are moved from there to what we now have, what you now have. All right. No, they reach maximum brightness almost immediately. I don't think this is an advantage. I would argue it's a disadvantage, right? So let's put that in the disadvantage column. Let's talk about advantage. The image is sharper with more realistic and vivid colors. That is one of the things that we have now with LCD. The images is real. May I look on Jade now, and Jade look really real. Yes, yes. Had it not been for this, if we were looking at Jade through CRT, should I look like one of them old-time people from the 60s? All right. So because of that, now we can see Jade looking quite real. All right. They produce a brighter light, leading to what? Better picture definition. When we talk about picture definition, you ever hear about pixel? Yeah, picture element definition. That's what we're talking about, right? Making the picture clear and bright and nice. Now, since LEDs are what? Very small, screens can be what? Can be much thinner in construction. So if you look up the old-time TV that used to have one background way back so, way back over there, which would have mean, Jade, that you'd have take up enough space, not only just space, Jade. It would have, those computer labs had to have AC. It was a decoration because those CRT used to take up so much space, plus they use so much heat, they generate heat. So the children would be in there and hot and freezing. So you you can't hot and freeze. Hot. You can't hot and freeze. So the whole point of the AC, yeah, you were hot and freeze, because them turn off the AC, you used to very hot. And then when they turn up the AC to cool down the room, you're very cold. All right. So you would be hot and freezing in those rooms. So because we have neater computers, because we don't have to have the long back, which had the vacuum in it, right? You can fit 10 computers in a space that could only keep two, right? So now we actually have bigger classroom space because we can fit nice computer along the walls. And we never have to have big old decks come way out here. So, all right, good. So that's one of the advantage. Also, they last for longer and are much more reliable. So if you were to ask, why are we now using LCD monitor? Them last longer. They are much more reliable and them give pretty picture, them make a picture look nice and them use up less space. All right, sound good. They use very little power. Why? And because of that, them generate little heat, which means that JPS not gonna like you because JPS can't get fair of you. All right, good. They're not going to use up a lot of electricity. Your bill is going to come down. All right. So imagine what school bill used to be like when we used to have the big old CRTs. No wonder why they never allowed us at Knox to see the computer until we were in grade 10. So all today, today, my first teacher, Colton, my first teacher, draw the computer in year 8 on the board. And he would narrate what would happen if I press K and he would draw the K coming on the screen. And if I press A, he would draw it on the screen. Because the school would not allow us to go into the labs because we would be using up too much electricity. Can you imagine how far we have come from? So to put into context, all right. So remember, I tell you what sets this one different is that this one is lit by a backlight, and of course we have lots of LEDs in the middle, and because of that, that is what comes on the front screen here that allows us to see you nice as you are looking now. Okay. Now I want to talk about more modern technology. So this one is not on your syllabus, but obviously if you went to the exam and they asked you to name it, you could also name it because on a bright. Now there's organic LED OLED screen. These are the most modern ones, and I kid you, in maybe 10 years, these are going to take over. Now these are brighter and they are thinner. There's something about people. They always want things smaller. Today, let me give some trouble. Where's Katrina? I'm going to pick on Katrina, Sugunin, and Colton. Listen, one of the see the big old phone number people used to have it in like 1999. Oh, sorry, 1999, we had the Nokia 3310 that only had the game on it that was snake and leather that was go whoosh, up the road. But before that, we used to have some big, so we call them truck catch. You could literally put it before a car and it would not move forward, right? But notice what happened over time. As technology become advanced, technology becomes much smaller. All right. If we could go back into history and look at computers, a single computer would take up a big old room. If we go back to maybe like the 1920s, 1930s, thereabout. But as we go by, computers are now being able to be fit in one pocket. That's your smartphone. So what we are trying to say is that there's always something about the advancement of technology always becomes thinner, better quality, thinner. And so it is with these new screens called OLED. So we want to look at what they are. The screen here is what? Plastic rather than glass, and so they are much more flexible. So Colton, who likes to break him phone, would probably like this because his phone would be much more flexible. He could turn his phone all sort of way and it would break the screen. You know? Yeah. So it's a more flexible technology. All right. So now I'll go back and ask a problematic question. Which of these on here you think is OLED and which one you think is LCD? Anybody's answering? Hello, I'm over here. Which one? Is it A, is it B, or is it none? Come people, no, but I midnight come and dark way up over here. Please to hurry up and answer. They just pick somebody, you know. They're gonna just pick somebody. They're gonna pick the person in a brightish shirt. That sound like a you, Colton. Oh, Mr. York, I hope I get the school right. Which of these would you classify to be OLED, and which one would be LCD? Today's saying A is going to be OLED and B would be LCD. I am going to find out. Okay. What about you, Colton? Do you agree or do you disagree?
I agree, sir.
Okay, and why do you agree? You can't just say yes without a
Because
reason, you know.
Jade is the smarter one, sir.
Well, that can go up on the CXC exam. All right. Me, I go tell you, say, me strongly disagree. Me very disagree. Which of the two I tell you have the thinnest screen?
B.
Well, forget about these pictures, because these pictures wrong bad. Let's talk about LCD and OLED. Which one have the thinnest screen?
B.
All right.
OLED.
Don't tell me the picture. Tell me LCD or OLED. Which of the two?
Sir, B is LCD and A is OLED.
Me still I tell us and talk about the image, you know, because the image wrong.
Oh.
Listen to me, no man. Me I say it wrong, you know. So I want to go back to like a reasoning with you now and ask you which of these two, LCD or OLED, which of those two have the thinnest screen?
OLED.
OLED, absolutely. But remember that I told you that LCD are neater and nicer and are able to fit into your computer room and save space. And then I told you that OLED is even thinner. The only difference is it is plastic, which means this big old something right here, so could not be any of those. This is old technology. It is called CRT. This one is cathode ray tube. This is the one that used to generate a whole heap of heat. You sweat like them throwing a pool in these rooms. Okay, so this one is CRT. This one is LCD. This is actually old technology. Come on, Jade. And this you see in your classroom. This one.
But sir,
And
that
this
is what
is,
I said that B is LCD.
you said B is LCD? Okay. I'm judging you wrongly then. Then which one what did you say A is?
I said that A would be the OLED.
It cannot be OLED because if it is
No,
thinner,
sir, that was before you said it was CRT, sir.
but let's go back right away. Let's go back right. What did I say? This one is brighter, thinner, and lighter than LCD. Which means if you get this right, this is not thinner, it's not brighter, and it's not better than this one. All right? Remember, I told you that I also said that the more advanced we become in technology, the size in technology reduce. All right? So these are the one when me I go to school. All right? And then in 2002, then give a little promotion with them one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Then give them one. They want to come out. All right? And then the OLED, me don't really know if them reach down Jamaica yet, you know. Me don't know. I'm not judging Jamaica. I'm just saying I don't know. So they're thin. So let's give you some points. All right. So the answer really is that none of them is none of them, right? CRT, this is a CRT monitor, stands for cathode ray tube. Here are the distinct features. And CXC want you to know this. So make sure you write this down. This is how you know when it's CRT. All right. And you know, these are not only in computers, they're also in the old time TV them. The same big old one where over your grandmother yard will not turn on anymore. That's why the back is big and bulky and it take up a whole heap of space on the whatnot. All right, good. So it is large, it has a bulky back. And the reason why it have a very large bulky back is because of the something right here, so named vacuum tube. It have a big old something at the back named vacuum tube. All right. And the pictures are projected through the vacuum tube. That is as much as you need to know about what CRTs are. Let me look what's going on over here. Katrina said they never know. All right, cool. And we now agree that this one over here is LCD. I know that it is flat, you know. I know it is slim. I'm not arguing that. I know that this one flat. I know it lightweight. But from your look on it, just look on the picture. Just look from your look on it. You know this I make around 2000. 2002, 2003. Look on it. Look there. That don't look like nothing new. That don't look like it get invented anywhere in the 2020s. So this is strongly CRT, and it's also much thicker than the one that we say is OLED. So make we look what OLED probably look like. All right, I'm gonna tell you what OLED looks like. So OLED, the one I mentioned before, the LCD came out about early mid 2000. I told us about 2002. Can you remember when NAXA changed out around 2002 it came. Now back then OLED monitors were not common because OLED came out about right here, so 2013 plus. How old were you, Colton? How old were you at 2013?
I was 2 years of age, sir.
Ah, good history class. All right, all right, all right. So now we want to remind you what the differences are. LCDs have a backlight. CRT has a vacuum tube. OLED have self-emitting lights, so it does not have a backlight. So make we look what OLED look like. See how this look? You see it? It look like on a new brand TV them will come out. They're very thin. Up on that. Gee whiz. Very thin. So they're even more thinner than LCDs. All right, good. The major difference is, remember that LCD have backlight that they shine through the LEDs that are before it. These now don't have no backlight. Them actually have self-emitting light. The LCD, they also have LEDs, but they can't light themselves. They need a backlight to light them up. These have only LEDs, but they can light themselves up. They are self-emitting, all right? So it means that each pixel generates its own light individually. Unlike the LCDs that require a separate backlight, it needs one backlight to make it come on, to make it show the nice pixel. OLED don't need any of that. It can light itself up. All right. Now, OLED is now being used in not just computers, but MP3 player. Some are coming out with nice smartphone now. Some of them new one where come from our China, were well flat, look like some phone named Huawei. All right. And it is my vision. Don't call me a prophet. I just think it's going to happen. That they're going to start making animated billboard using OLED. I even think they're going to get rid of traditional paper book and make some new type of book where you can still skip the page. And they're going to use OLED because OLED is thin page. It is thin, but also it is cheaper in terms of generating electricity. It don't generate as much heat as the others do. All right, cool. So make a look at some advantages of OLED. They're obviously thinner. That means they can fit on your wall without, and they're lighter too. a little nail can hold it up. Unlike some of these big old thing where you have to buy big old, but then calling something when they put TV pan in our house, entertainment center and all them something there. Yes. So what we realize is that as time goes by, people are trying to use less space. They're having smaller furniture, neater furniture. Space matters to people. And so OLED is definitely advantageous. All right. They are brighter. And guess what? They have no need for backlighting. They can light themselves up. They consume less power. That means we want to save electricity. We don't want to give our money to JPS. All right. And thus, they are better for portable devices because it means your battery life, Colton, is going to last longer because this is using up less energy. You see what I'm talking about? So these are good. And here what now? You see when you must refresh your screen, you ever refresh your screen it and it take long to come up till it finally come about 5 seconds after. These are 200 times faster when you refresh them. So as you go blip, 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 that's how fast it moves from one to the other. That's OLED. All right, cool. Now, we want to talk about some disadvantages. They do not last long because they will wear much faster than LCD. So still, LCD are way more durable than OLED. But I think the people who are developing have a plan up their sleeve, Colton. I think they have a plan up the sleeve. They know that the way to keep you spending more money is to cause the thing to mash up fast. You ever realize how quick anybody have iPhone and all this something? You have an iPhone? You have iPhone? You don't realize, you don't know people have iPhone that you just have your phone for 5 years and nothing wrong with your phone. But all of a sudden, the screen just not touch anymore. The charger port just not good anymore. It's not charged anymore. It's manufacturing plan. Back in the days, my parents could have a Motorola for 15 years. No, the phone's not lasting that long because they need to make more money. All right, cool. So, if I were to put them together, all right, this is perhaps what I would refer to as OLED. Notice quite thin, very thin. All right, this is also OLED, quite thin. All right, the ones you have that are a little bit thicker than this are more LCDs. All right, any question? Anything not clear? Anything not clear? All right, everybody, all right, good, cool. We talk about printer then, no? We're going to spend 14 more minutes of this. We talk about printer. Now, what would I call a printer? A printer is simply a device that produces physical copy or hard copy. Please make sure you write down what hard copy is and what physical copy is. It is going to be on the multiple choice. And sometimes it come around either question 13 or question 19 on the multiple choice paper. I'm not joking. It's true. It's good. Make sure you know what hard copy is and make sure you know what soft copy is. Very, very important. All right, cool. Now, we want to talk about, you see, before we touch types of print, I'm going to go over so first. There are categories of printers. Your CXC paper wants you to know these two things. You have impact and you have non-impact. I wonder what you think is the difference between the two. Look at those two words and tell me. It has something to do with the relationship with the printer and the paper. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Non-impact printers would include lasers. They don't make contact with the paper. And impact
Uh,
printers have, I don't remember what it's called, but it almost goes onto the paper
touch
to,
paper.
yeah.
Right. Awesome. So that's the basic difference between the categories. All right, Colton, no thing in a man. All right, Colton. So good. All right. Cool. So Impact printers are printers that print by physically striking an ink ribbon against paper to produce characters and image. But just say what Colton say a little bit nicer, right? Because when I go to exam, so now I sound like the expert. So this is what you need to remember. All right. So it physically strike an ink ribbon against paper to produce characters and images. That's a major difference. They work mechanically. They are similar to type. Lord Jesus, you don't know what typewriter be. I have to go Google one picture. And Jode, you ever see one typewriter? You have seen one? Okay. All right, good. Me now go by that Google no picture them. All right, cool. They are commonly used for multi-copy printing, like invoicing, receipts, and forms. So you need to know this, all right? You need to know when you use impact printers versus when you use non-impact printers. So yeah, if you have print invoice, if you have print receipt, if you have print any form of form, something with line and all that, something there, and several different compartments and parts, these printers are probably the best one to actually use. And I'm going to look more in depth of this. Don't worry yourself. So some key features you need to remember about impact printers is that them can print on multiple layers. That is number one, multiple layers. They are usually noisy because of the striking mechanism. So if Colton watch Premier League, today you can't go there, do a print no homework. War go on. Because they might go get disturbed because the printer make too much noise. And the other thing is, they are slow. So, and I like it, I got like 2 minutes and done printing a cold time. You're going to miss a good 40 minutes of the match, because it just go, burp, burp, burp. For every character is striking, burp, burp. Slow, all right? And here are the examples of those kind of printers. So make sure you kind of remember them. And there are more. You have line printer, line up the, oh, you did it. Yeah. You have bar printer, you have character printer, the more common ones, dot matrix printer, and you have the good old daisy wheel. It sounds like history. Daisy wheel printer. All right. So those are your impact printers. Now I'm going to look a little bit now into each of them. Kind of give you an idea what they are. Cool? So character printer. Yes, it is an impact printer, as we said before, and it prints one character at a time. Just imagine how long Jude is going to disturb Colton in watching his football, because Jude look like Jude right long as say no. For every character, prints one character at a time. Very important. It strikes a ribbon against the paper for each character, forming letters, numbers, or symbols. It's going to take long. Okay? All right. Mostly used for small volume printing where speed is not critical. So I like, Jade want print work for go to school now, man. You can't use a printer, you know? Better print for one night because it will not be finished. All right? It's going to take a long time. So if we could, me like to sum them up in our features so that it summarizes the key bits. When you say anything me put in a bowl, important. That's the way you want to remember when you study. You know what I mean? So prints one character at a time. Yeah. Can use that matrix daisy wheel or type bar mechanism. It is slower than line printer because instead of printing one line at a time, it prints one character at a time. Very slow. And it is suitable for invoices, receipts, and small forms. And you must use it when you're not in haste. That's the printer. Good. All right. We could go talk about good old daisy wheel. Yes, man. for me, my God, daisy wheel history. No, the daisy wheel printer is again a type of impact printer. It also does what? Print one character at a time. It has a wheel shaped like a daisy. So this is why daisy get him name. It's shaped like daisy, with each petal containing a character, which means a letter, number, or symbol. Now, when printing, the wheel rotates to the correct character and a hammer strikes the petal against an ink ribbon, which prints character on paper. All right? Sound good? Sound right there. So that is how the Daisy printer works. Again, I'm going to upload this presentation so you'll have access to it. All right, cool. Now, I like talk about the features again. So when you talk about Daisy Wheel, it has high quality text printing, which is quite similar to typewriters that were before old technology. They can print only fixed fonts. They cannot print graphics. So if Colton wants to print him football, friend them and brethren them, for him team, this is not it. You can't use this because this is not suitable for printing graphics. That is why it is a character type printer. Right? Text, numbers, that's all. It is slower than modern printers like laser and inkjet, which we'll talk about later. It is very nice because of the mechanism keeps striking, bang, 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 bang. And of course, it can produce multiple copies using carbon paper. This we no need to know. All right, good. Let's move on. I like to go on a little advantages because sometimes when I check the exam paper, they ask. So let me tell you a little advantages of Daisy Wheel. So it produces neat and sharp text. Oh, it's a character printer. It knows how to do its stuff. It is good for letters, obviously. No picture no in there. It is good for invoices because it's impact. And so they are good for compartment type printing. It is good for forms. Yeah, because it's impact printer. It is reliable for small volume printing. So if you write essay that is 100-page dissertation, please do not use this printer. It's going to take long. Disadvantages: it is slow compared to modern day printers. It cannot print images or graphics. It has limited font and styles. And oh yeah, we have slope there. Good. So it's good. All right. So that's that. Only if you know everything on a slider. Good. Let's now talk about line printer, which means Colton, if character print one character at a time, what does line printer do? Where's Colton? Colton
Prints one line at prints one line at a time.
one line at a time. All right, cool. So it prints an entire line at a time. All right, right? Instead of a character time. That's main thing. It is used mainly in large-scale businesses and offices for high-speed printing. So again, it makes nice, but it is much faster than printing one character at a time. Everybody know what I mean by character, by the way? You know what I mean?
Character could refer to the letters that we're using, sir.
Nice. So even the space consider character, you know? Here, it have to make that blank space there. Chirp, chirp, chirp. As a character behave. But line would go done. All right, so this is much faster than character printers. Okay, so it's ideal for printing reports, logs, and large documents, again because it is an impact printer suited for these things. All right, so again, me like to put in bold some very important points that when you think about what you need to study for, what do I need to remember? It's high speed. It can print hundreds and thousands of lines per minute because it does it per minute. It is impact printing, which means it uses hammers, chains, or bars to strike a ribbon or paper. I don't know why this thing sounds like construction. It is used for bulk printing, so like invoices, bank statements, or payrolls. It is noisy due to the mechanical striking. And of course, we have different examples of line printer. Look over here, so drum printer, chain printer, bar printer. These are types of line printer, which also comes under the big umbrella of impact printers. With drum printer, uses a rotating drum with characters. Chain, it uses a chain character to move horizontally. And bar, use bar. You just need to remember, it use bar, it use chain, and this one use drum. And it all prints line by line. Are we good? All right. Like we walk go over and talk to that matrix now, no? That matrix. You know, me remember them a teach me this in about 2001. Jeez, he's made it tired of the printer them. That matrix. This too is an impact printer. It uses tiny pins, so no big hammer, no drum, tiny pins striking on the ink ribbon to form characters and images on paper as a series of dots. So you need to remember what mechanism they use. That's how you're going to know the difference, all right? And again, it is called impact printer because the print head pins physically strike the ink ribbon against the paper, making direct contact, what we call impact, produce characters or images. So that matrix step up a little bit. It can do images. Yeah. So it's not just the characters. That matrix now can do images. So you want to make note of that. Very, very important. Okay. Advantages. It is low printing cost per page, and therefore it is very economical for bulk printing. It is durable and long-lasting, and therefore it can work in tough environments like factories. No wonder why we have them at school, because we have some bad people who kick over teacher printer. So yes, it can handle it. It can cross it. All right. It can print on multi-part forms, such as invoices, receipt, and carbon. It's impact. So impact print, invoice, receipt, carbon copies. Yeah. Cool. And of course, it is reliable and can withstand dust, heat better than modern day printers. So if you are working a construction, like if you have a hardware where is lots of dust that's likely to be there, this is probably the best type of printer to have there, okay? And of course, it allows for continuous paper printing. Disadvantages, again, it's noisy, all right? Because of the striking pins that make a lot of sounds. It also produces very low quality in terms of printing compared to laser printers. It is much slower compared to modern day printers like laser, and it is not suitable for high resolution images. So, Juday, Katrina, can I use this at my photo studio?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because it produces low print quality, which means that the photos will not come out the way you want them to.
Absolutely. There you go. So now you start to give advice. So, and also in terms of design, they are much larger and heavier than most other types of printer. So if you have a small space, can you use this printer? Hmm? Can you? Where's Katrina? Is Katrina still there? Katrina, remember, you're my school sake, you know. School sake. Alma mater. Where's Katrina? Katrina, not with us today at all. All right. What about Rajin? No, sir. Like everybody gone for lunch. You know, look good. So we're going to talk about non-impact printers, all right? So one of them is the laser printer. I'm going to just get through that a bit. And of course, again, these offer high quality and they're high speed. So if you need to do it fast, just before you rush out to school, you need to get one of these, all right? They function similar to a photocopier, which means them quite fast and good. They also use something called powdered ink rather than using a toner. So that's one of the major difference. So if I could put it in a nice little paragraph, if I was asked in the exam, I would say something like, a laser printer is a type of printer, and I may say non-impact, that uses laser beam to create an electrostatic image on a drum, which then attracts toner. The toner is the powdered ink, and transfers it onto the paper, producing fast and high quality prints. That sound like university response. That is what you would need to write if you have to distinguish in the exam. Okay, please and thank you. Now, in terms of advantages, the good things about this, they can print many pages per minute, which is great for high volume use. So if you work at school and you need to print student exam paper in time for them to do their exams, then the school might need to consider having laser printer. Also, considering that some people like me who need 4 eyes in order to see clearly, then that means me have to make sure the images are formed out quite at a high quality. So this would definitely be the one for you. It is also durable and reliable because it is built to handle heavy workloads with fewer jams. So you never see printer jam yet? You see that? You never hear people are complaining that the printer jam and them have gone on the back and pull it down and take out the paper. Right. This one really have jam. It have jam, but not as much as the others. All right. So very good for that. And of course, it is what you saw, cost effective in the long term. You have to be able to explain that. So if you're just going to buy a laser printer now, in the short term, it's very expensive. It's more expensive than the other printers. But obviously, in the long term, because it uses a powdered ink, it's going to be more cost effective in the long run. All right, cool. And of course, this was another thing that was annoying with some old type printer. You never see some printer that when they print something, the ink look like it a leak and the letters look edgy. It don't look clear and nice. Yeah, that's why we like laser because it dry as soon as it come out, and so there is no smudging. So that's an advantage for using laser printers. Now, laser printers are usually more expensive, as I said, and it's cheaper to buy inkjet. They tend to be bulkier, they take up more space. The toner cartridges can cost more than ink cartridges. So yeah, them cost some money. They are generally they generally don't produce any photo quality color prints as well as inkjet. So again, this is not good for a print uh, a photo studio who wants to print photo. It would be better for them to get inkjet. And we're going to talk about inkjet shortly, and then I'm going to stop right here and post the rest so you can read the rest. All right. They use more power, especially when warming up. All right. So, what are some of the places that we'd use laser printer? We use them in offices, businesses, schools, universities, home offices, banks, government institution, publishing, and law firms. All right. And again, it has to be a publishing firm that is not printing children's book. Why, Jade? Why does it need to be a publishing firm that does not print children's book? Why?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
Colton would like to answer the question.
It's a Colton answer. Sure. Colton, you are volunteered. Look like it come right back to you now, Jade. Come people night coming, we need to answer. Why would it not be suitable for a published firm that prints children's book? Why?
Sir, because a laser printer would be used for more legal documents, sir.
Text-based documents.
Yes,
So
sir.
children book now have text in it.
Yes, sir, but children's books are more picture like.
Oh. So if me want to print picture, it will be best for me to use inkjet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was wonderful of Val. All right. I am going to put this question up there and I want you to think about it and write your answers in the chat. A medium-sized business is trying to decide which type of printer to buy. They need to print invoices in bulk every day, occasional high-quality reports for clients, and also want to keep costs very low. Which printer would be more suitable for the company's need? Should they consider having more than one type of printer? How do speed, quality, and cost affect their decision? I'd love to hear some thoughts. Which printer and why?
Sir, a laser printer.
Who is speaking? Is Reggie? Regine is back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Regine come back. Oh Lord. All right, Regine, you're saying laser. Why?
Sir, because on a day-to-day basis, I don't have time to be waiting on a other printer. All right. Since they're being printed in bulk, sir, they need it to be fast.
You know. But they also want to keep costs
Since it's
low.
an everyday use, that also.
But they also want to keep costs low.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm asking. They want to keep costs low. So yes, it's satisfying the speed and high quality, but later printers are not exactly cheap in the short term because the ink costs more, the printer itself costs more, the upkeep costs more. So do you still stand by using laser?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now change no course. All right. Any other person want to share their thoughts with us before we switch over? All right. Where's Colton? Where's Katrina? Is this Gino Billy? And is this Josh? Josh, we haven't heard from you all day. Can you please tell me what printer would you go for and why?
Uh, sir, I would have to go with hmm, the one that Rajin went with, sir. I forgot the name already. The
Oh,
reason
what
why
was
I
that one?
would, this was the one that had like really good speed, but its cost in short term was not efficient. If I remember,
Is that laser?
yeah, laser.
Okay. Colton, what about you?
Yes, sir.
What about you? What printer should we be going with?
Oh, laser, sir, due to their speed, since they need to keep print the invoices in bulk.
Yeah, but everybody is ignoring the fact that we need to keep costs low. And everybody is ignoring the fact that we don't always need high quality reports. We just occasionally need high quality. It's not every day. And everybody is also ignoring that reports and receipts are not best for printing with laser, which is a non-impact printer. So is everybody just focusing on one side of it? What about you, Jade? What are your thoughts? And
Sir,
nobody is looking at my next part of the question. Should we be getting, so we can afford it, should we be getting more than one type of printer for that matter? That's what I want to know. Yeah, go ahead.
sir, having more than one type of of printer would be beneficial to the business because it requires a high volume of printing.
So
So
which two or which three would you get?
you'd use the laser printer for the invoices and the legal documents, and inkjet for presentations.
We're not even touch inkjet yet, but good try. Very good at it. All right, good. Guys, when you get to an exam, I want you to never ignore details. Anybody who's an examiner who is assessing, the question is loaded for a reason. They're not asking you because they want to get it right at the first go. They're asking you because they want to think about the answer and provide a detailed response. In this case, I think we should have looked at it a bit more. So I'm going to look at what my answers would have been. So the first one, some people chose laser. That's the answer I got. If this was marked out of 4, you'd have get 1 point if you defend it well. A laser printer is better because the company needs fast, high quality printing for reports and invoices. You have ignored the rest of the question. So that's just probably 1 point, 1 or 2 points out of the 4. Okay. Um, you could also say it saves time and it looks professional when printing clients' documents. You need to be able to give reasons from the statement why you're saying that. And although the toner is expensive, the cost per page is lower in the long term. This is me trying to address the low cost part of it, right? I'm showing the examiner that I actually know what I'm thinking about. So the examiner might look at this now and say, okay, out of 4, I think this is maybe 2.5. But CXC does not round up, they round down. So they'll give you 2. All right, good. Let's look at what another answer could have been, because dot matrix is the one I didn't hear anybody speak about. Although that matrix is more suitable for invoices in bulk and needs, and of course, multi-part forms. It's a non-impact printer and it is more suitable for this. That's one of the main advantages. It is also cheaper to run and can handle continuous paper. The only issue here is that the quality is not the greatest. But look at me in the exam. I am making sure that I address every part of the question. Quality is not a big issue for invoices. What I am saying to the examiner, I have read the full question and I am addressing every aspect of the question, right? Albeit this, I'd get 3 points here. Still would not get a full 4. I'd get 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 is not bad. This would get you 4 out of 4. Both. We would need 2 printers. We would need a dot matrix for the invoice and the receipts. That is going to end up reducing costs. So when I don't need to use high quality, I use my dot matrix. And I would use the laser printer for the client reports and presentation. On this way, we will balance cost, speed, and quality. Please look at this. This is less words. It's not always quantity, it is quality. And quality is being able to address all the points of the question with the knowledge that you have. Are we good? Everybody happy? Good, good, good.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, nice. So I am going to stop here. Um, just because I've made this presentation available to you. On there, you can read what I've placed there about inkjet. Um, and also computer speakers, which are quite common. Don't need to talk much about it right here. I'll talk about them in some other lessons, but I'll allow you to do the rest of the reading and complete the activities in the lesson so that we can use a part of our class to do programming. All right. And get you to build the skills of programming. And also, at some point, we're going to try and bring some database in, some Excel in, the skills you actually need for the exam, and a little tools of website development at some point. So we're going to try and keep it like that. We only have a year, so that's how we're going to go. So I am going to give Uno 5 minutes because I want to be nice people. I'm going to 5 minutes break. Yeah? If you're there at school and I get break, give me 5 minutes break and then Uno come back. 23 minutes past the hour underneath the backyard, pan screen, and ready to go. Take a break and come back for programming. When you come back, you must open trinket and ready to code. All right? Go on, please. Okay. Guys, if you take my time, I'm gonna take your time. Let's go. Where are we at? Where is everybody?
Hi, sir.
All right, so we're ready. All right, great. Josh, you look like a bed you go. All right, guys, please, the class notebook is here. Just find this document. It's on the programming. So from time to time, I'll post activities there for you to actually get going on. The one way to become a very good person at programming is to keep practicing and keep doing. So we're going to do that each week until we build up our confidence in what we do, okay? So if you look on the program here, the number one says, we're going to write a program statement to store the value 25 in a variable called age, which they have told us what the variable should be. And they've also told us what we need to display. It needs to say hello world on the screen. Very simple mark that they could have asked you in an exam. So let's see how we approach it, right? So everybody can see my programming screen, right? The things you can see that. Can you see that? What am I typing? Let's see if we can see.
Letter N, sir.
Oh, letter N. Very good. All right, so we're going to approach that. So the first thing they have said to us is that we need to store the number. Where am I at? Right here. We need to store the number 25 in a variable called age. All right, so that's what they would be marking for. Let's say it was an exam you're answering. So we'll create the variable called age, and we will store 25. Remember that equal, a single equal sign in Python, in programming, means that we're assigning or we're storing. It's just like any other rule that you have for English language. You start a sentence with capital letter, you end with full stop. So here they want us to store 25 in the variable called age, which we have done. The next thing they want us to do in the question is to display the text hello world on the screen. All right, so again, what keyword do I use for displaying? Anybody remember?
Print.
Print. Nice. So on there, we could just simply say hello world. All right. And if we had run that program, it would have done just what they want. All right. And that is how you'd probably respond to a question of this sort. Now, I'm going to extend it a bit just because it didn't use the variable age, didn't use it. So I'd probably just say print a print statement, and I'll say I age years old, something like that. And if we run this program now, it would say something like, hello world, I am 25 years old. All right. So once you have done that, this is what I would love for you to do. I'd love for you to snip this. You know how to snip?
Screenshot.
Yeah. So you snip it and paste it on there. A way to do it is to hold on Windows. You know, the Windows is the four little box. It's usually at the bottom, beside Control and FN and Alt right there. If you hold on that and hold on the shift key is the arrow pointing up, that is just above the control. So if you hold on those two and then press S, then you will see a thing come up and you just use the mouse and drag it over it. And it will, yeah. So let me, if you see what I do there, it should come up like this. Yeah, it should come up looking like that. Can you see that? And if I do something like this, see that? Let me know if you see it.
Sir, remember when it going into screenshot mode, it freezes your screen, so we can't see
Oh,
after.
got you. Look at me. So you hold on the shift key, that's and the Windows. Windows is the folder. And then you can find a Google. And Google it. I'll tell you. Jeez. Shortcut for snip. Snip. There. Oh, here you go. What's going on? Image. So it's all the way over here. Oh no, it's in control. This is not the one. It's bad. Let's see. Oh no, these people are so Shift Windows and S. Yeah. All right. See me. So if you look right over on my mouse here, this is it. So hold on on these two. The reason I come to this and this, hold on on it, and then press S. And then I'll go thing will come up, and then if you drag the mouse over it, hold on the left click and drag over it, it will take a picture of it. And then you paste. Paste is Control V. So paste it on your copy so I can see what you have done. All right? Got it? Got it? Got it? Got it?
Sir, what exactly are we copying?
You're not typing program.
Oh,
What am I going with? We're answer question them together, Josh. What are you doing? You want to do it by yourself? I can do that. Yeah. So you're typing it together and you're taking a picture. So what we're doing is answering the question like within an exam, Josh. We're going like an exam winner. We're answer it together. You don't know which question we answer, Josh?
yes, sir. I see it in the classroom.
All right. Those are questions. We're answering those questions. All right. And once you're done, you can just save your work right here, as I told you, and then do a new one, and we keep going. So let me know if I can move on now. Can I move on to the next one? Can I move on? Okay, cool. So we're going to go to the next one, yeah? So the next one now, so if we look at this, a little bit of math. It says, what will be the output of the following code? So let's look at this together and see if we could read this and figure out what we think will be printed. Look at the formula there and tell me what you think will be printed.
Five times three plus two.
What would be printed? Remember, you have to remember the rule in math, bad mass. So B is for what? Brackets first. Uh, bud. Then you have our big
Order.
mass indices. And then you have D. What D stand for again? Divide.
Yes, sir.
And then you have multiply. and then you have add and then subtract. So we need to multiply first, obviously. That would have been x times y, which is 15 plus 2, 17. So we're going to type this up and see if it does exactly that, yeah? So let's say I was doing it on here as well. So it's x equal x equal 5, y equal 3. So x equal 5, y equal 3. And then we do print, and it's x times y plus the plus 2. Yeah. And if we run this, it would print 17. So that's 17. So yeah, type it up, print screen it, show that you have done the program and you know how to do it. All right. You can do it on a new page. You don't have to do it on the same page. I'm just doing it on here because I'm here, but yeah. All right, cool. Let's move to the next one, and then I'm going to leave you to try and do the rest. You know it goes. All right, so section B says we're going to write a program that asks the user to enter their name, age, and then print hello, whatever their name is, you are whatever years old. All right, so I'm going to do this one and maybe two more, and then I'll leave you guys to finish the rest and show me your results. All right, cool. So let's do this one together. So we need to ask the user to enter user, okay? So the first thing you want to do is look, what is my input? Usually your input is what you're asked to enter. Your process is what you need to do. And output is usually what needs to be done at the end, which is what is printed or output. So in this case, we need to ask the user to enter what? Their name and their age. Those two things become your input. And of course, you need to store them in a variable. So let's try and do that together. I am going to clear my screen so I can do that one. So it's name equal. What keyword do we use when we want them to enter from the keyboard again, Colton?
Print. Second,
Print.
sir.
What keyword we use when we want to get them to enter something from the keyboard?
Input.
Input.
In,
Nice. So input, and we put in quotation mark, and we'll tell them to enter your name. Okay? Remember, whatever is in the bracket, you will get a spelling error. For example, if I spelled enter wrong, let's just do something nonsense. This is not going to stop the program from working, but what it will do is print my error. So anything that is in here doesn't stop your program from running. It only affects what your user will see, the person who will be using your program. All right. So once it's in a quotation mark, it doesn't affect the program running. All right, cool. Then they also want us to ask the person for their age, so we do the same thing. Age. Last week I told you that when we want something to be a number, because the computers are full and take everything as a text, what do we need to convert it to an integer?
int.
Int. So we do int, and then we do input, and then we tell them to enter their age. Okay. From here, they want us to print it in this format. They gave us a format that they want it in. So they want us to say hello to the person name, you are, and put that there, years old. So that's the format we need. So to do that, what keyword do we use when we want to display?
print.
That's print. Then we do hello. And it needs to say hello, their name. Now, you might be wondering, you see, why is it that I put a space here? Well, let's prove why. Okay. If I run this program without that space there and I enter name, so let's say the name is Rob and the age is 23. When it prints it, this one doesn't show it obviously, but what would have happened is that it would be joined together because it's an online platform that doesn't work pretty well like with the real program. It's just for classroom purpose. It's just for easy classroom purpose. But this is needed there so that when it prints, it creates a space, hello, and then name, all right? And then we need to know at the part that says you are. Okay, what should go here now?
Comma,
Mm-hmm.
age.
All right, cool. So we run that program and we put Josh name. Let's use Josh. And Josh is about 10 years old. Yeah. There you go. Hello, Joshua. You're 10. All right. Might need to add something more on it. We wanted to say years old or something like that. So we do years old. So again, the only thing that goes into your comma are those things that are not keywords and they are not variables. Okay. So when you write a program, it's going to have variables, it's going to have keywords, and it's going to have string. So the strings are the bit that is needed to help explain what the program is doing. However, you do not, you do not, it does not affect the program itself. It's just how it's displayed. All right, cool. So Colton is 5. Good. So that's working. Is that good? We all right? No
Yes, sir.
question? No question? All good?
Yes,
Jide,
sir.
what about you? Jide, I hope I'm not losing you,
No, sir, I'm good.
All right, cool. I hope that nod is not a nod of I'm done. All right, cool. Let's go on to this one now. So we're gonna practice this one again. Um, so we, as a programmer, yeah, we don't care about what the numbers are. In fact, we use a word called abstraction. We don't care about because I'm probably not the best at math at the moment. I don't care about math. Being a programmer, um, I just need to create the process that works. I don't care about what the actual data is. You know what I mean? So, for example, here I don't need to work out 10% discount. I just need to know how discount is calculated. I don't care what number they're actually going to enter and all of that. So, I'm going to try and do this one. Again, guys, please make sure for all the ones you do that you screenshot and put your answers on there because it's good for me to look at what you're doing and then plan my next activities around that. So, I'm just trying to build on what we're doing. So let's try and do this discount one, all right? So it says that stores offering a 10% discount on all items. So watch this. They want us to write a program to ask the user to enter what? We want to enter. Do you want to enter?
Item price.
Right. We can call it item price. I like that name. So I'm going to clear my screen. Again, guys, make sure you save your work so that you can look back at them as examples. So please use new ones and save them. You can have a million. Don't follow me. My one almost full. So, yeah. So item price, all right? So again, the reason why we name with variables properly is because it's easy for us to remember what they stand for. Okay, we don't want to confuse ourselves. Now, last week I talked about int. Did I mention float? Did anybody hear me speak about float?
Think so, sir.
When do we
Yes, sir.
use float?
For decimals.
So you think price can be decimal? Yeah, it costs, some can cost 50.69 cents, right? So it will be good now to use float. Well done. So we're going to use float here. All right. Again, we're going to do input and we are going to tell them to enter the price of the item. All right, cool. That's that. If I was to run this, that's what I would see on this side. Now, the next thing we need to be able to do from here is to work out the discount. Because if we read the question, the whole point of this is to work out the discount. See, there's a calculate. So you know the difference here, yeah? They didn't say we should enter the discount. They are accept the discount. They say we are to work that out, calculate it. So that's not going to be an input. It's something we have to actually work out. So we're going to create a variable and we're going to call it discount. How would we work out discount? Tell me what you do in math. If I'm giving you 10% of $100, what was the mathematical process to get it work?
So we find 10% of the original price, then subtract that answer from the original price.
Colton, remember me not so bright, you know. Tell me what I need to do exactly. Keep on
You
going
fi-
like smart. Not smart, you know. Yeah.
so you have $100, sir. You find 10% of that.
How
That's
you do
10.
that? How you find the 10%, Colton? How? What me need to do? What process?
Multiply the 10% by the 100.
Only by the 10 by the 100. That no look like that, you know? No look like that.
Sir, 10 over 100 times 100 over 1.
So 10 over, then that you must say, man. So I put that part in a bracket. 10 divided by 100, which should have give you 0 point something. 0 0.1 that you would give you. Tell me the mathematicians. 10 over 100 give you what?
0.1, sir.
0 0.1. Cool. So me could have just hardwire it and put 0 0.1 in it. But because as a programmer, we want to be very specific, we want the process to work accurately, we put in the full process. So I do 10 over 100 times what? Which variable do you think we should have put there, sir?
Item
Watch.
price.
Nice. That was the item price. You see it? Cool. So when we do 10 over 100 times item price here, yeah, this is only going to work out the discount, but it don't tell us what the final price is. I know they didn't ask us to do that, but we should do that because I think the question is short. So let's print this and show what I mean. If I went ahead and I say the, oh no, the item price, the item price is item price. And 10% discount is 10%. And 10% discount is discount. And if I run that and I place, let's say the item was $200. So now it works out that my discount is 20, but it does not tell me what my final price is. What do you think we should do if we want to work out the final price?
Subtract the item price from the discount.
Or the other way
Subtract
around?
the subtract the discount from the item price.
Fabulous. So we can do final price equal item price minus discount. Now I'll just do a different print statement. All right, so we try run this now, and we put back the same $200. So you notice that it would tell me what was the actual money we paid, which is this. It also tell me what the 10% discount was, and it also now work out what's the new price that person should pay. Capiche?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What about Regine? Regine, I haven't heard from you for a while. You all right? Katrina,
Yes, sir.
we good? Claire?
Yes, sir.
Claire? All right, cool. And I say, Gino, you all right? What's good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Remember to let me know if you guys have questions. I want to make sure I'm helping and making the next generation of programmers and helping to pay my. Please make sure you do that. All right, cool.
But
So
sir,
let's.
by the time we become programmers, won't AI have taken over our jobs?
Well, no, because what people keep thinking, AI can write programs like this, of course, but remember that AI is really a technology that still requires somebody to determine what it needs to be able to do. So you will always need software engineers to come on in and create what the next version of technology is going to do. It's just like when, remember, before there was stoplight, where we used to have a police out there wave on. And then when we created that technology that could take over from that, it never replaced people altogether. But what it did was create new jobs, and it replaced that type of job. We don't need police officers to go control traffic, but it also creates new jobs. So new technology will always create opportunity for new jobs. And the beautiful thing about it is that software engineering is actually a development field. You understand? So you are going to always integrate involved. If you ask me if you have to keep learning, surely, as with any job that is worth keeping, no job is static. You have to keep learning. When I just started doing programming, um, I tell you, I was at Knox and they didn't bother to teach the programming component. Why may I give Katrina bad news and bad name? Listen now, my school never used to bother teach the programming part. My teacher used to just tell us, say, when you reach a programming part, have to do that part if you pass. Just pass. Pass the rest. So when I went to college and decided I was going to do computer science, first college I went to was Churches College. The reality is that I didn't even know what that program was when I went into that class. Although I left the school top the subject at, at that time, me still never versed enough to actually can come teach programming. Because I actually never really grasped, me just do enough to pass. And then I went to UWI. And yeah, the tell news actually came. First course me do was a Python course. I'll never forget it. And I failed that first course. The first time I failed a course. And I needed to learn it, pass it, so that I could move on to learn about Java and all that. The point I'm making here is that, surely there are some jobs that will require you to keep upgrading, but it will never completely replace. That's just it. Right? Cool. Let's do one more before we go. Let's move over here. One more. So if you guys scroll down. Oh, yeah, them did tell if you calculate the final price. Why never say? Was it? Okay, so we're going to try and do this one. I feel like telling you to try it. I wanted to try it.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
Not today. Not
No,
today.
no, 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 no.
Not today, sir.
Mm-mm.
You
Not
mean?
today. Not today.
No,
Didn't
can't
say
do
don't
today.
give it to us, sir. Just not today.
Not today.
Oh, you mean
Not
I
today.
shouldn't do it? I shouldn't do it neither.
No, you should demonstrate it to us because you're the teacher.
I don't like it. All right, cool. I'm doing one more. It's the last one I'm doing. You guys need to finish all of it and make sure I get it. All right, so I don't need to do your rest. All right, so I'm going to do this one again with you. Okay, so this one wants us to calculate what? Simple interest. You me say 8 this in a maths class, no man. Sure. All right. since a programming, we'll do it. Write a Python program that calculates the simple interest earned on a loan. Now, the program should ask the user for P, R, and T. So these are the things we need to tell the person that to enter. The people, we tell you, principal is the principal amount, and this is the rate of the interest, and this is the time in terms of the years that you actually need to do it. So these are the three we need to ask for, all right? So we're going to do, let's do that one. We're going to do principal. And we're just going to, so principal again is going to be, is that float, integer, or string? Come on, guys. Got 4 minutes. Let's go.
Integer, sir.
When me feel like money, it's better to use float for money. Just feel so. I have a feeling.
This because of decimal, sir.
Yeah, I just feel so. So I'll go with float. All right, so float input. And we will do enter the principal. Enter the principal. All right, cool. Then the next thing we need to ask for is rate. So we need to ask them to enter. Rate, I think, will also be float. So we'll go with that. So input. And we will do enter the rate. Then we need the other one. T is time. So we'll do time. And then time again, I still think will be float because it can be 10.5 years. So I'll do float again. So we'll do input, enter the time. All right, cool. Next thing they do is give us a formula in how we can actually do this. Anybody on here actually do physics? Anybody do physics?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll create some physics question to be on the right programs for. All right, nice. Yeah, like force, calculate mass, them something. Yeah, of course. Any chemistry person here? I have a feeling say Jade do chemistry. Katrina, what about you? You do chemistry?
No, sir.
No. Where you do business?
Biology.
Biology. All right, now work out something in the biology field. If I'm to work out some DNA or something, I mean, I like you write on program to work out to people in DNA. It'll help people in Jamaica, you know. Cool. Fine, we'll write some programs like that. Okay, so this now, all we have to do is look at the formula, because they give us a formula as how to work it out. So F, whatever F stand for. What F mean? That's the answer. All right. We'll call it result. So the formula is we need to have a variable. So we'll probably call this, what the F stand for Jide. Help no man. We don't know.
Sir, my laptop was giving me issues, so I just came back on. I don't know.
We think I gonna hide early. All right.
No, sir.
What C stand for? Why this look like the wrong formula? This look like something to do with Celsius and Fahrenheit. I can't this. These are the wrong thing. Somebody Google Google the formula for simple interest. This is not it. This is at the wrong place. This no make no sense. This look like a Fahrenheit and something and all them thing there. We change that for the people. Yeah. Down there, so this with the man. No, not get trouble.
Yes,
Down
sir.
there, get trouble. This is at the wrong place. All right, what's the formula for a simple interest?
SI equal P times R times T over 100.
Okay, so let's find that. So instead of calling it result, we are calling SI. And it's what? What is it?
It's P times R
we go to principal times rate.
Times time
Yes, yes, times time.
divide by 100.
We're going to put that in a bracket. And we're going to divide by 100. Cool. Then we're going to print this. So the simple interest is SI. So that would work. Let's try that again. Oh no, can't spell. All right, so let's say I did borrow $200 and I agree to pay back 7% over 5 years, and simple interest would be $70. Nice. Okay, there you go, man. All right, so that's that screenshot that for my homework, guys. I know me have to go and look at homework, right? I would love for you to keep working on this or move down to doing the other one, which is product of numbers, then do the temperature, then area. This week we decided to go the route of maths. Next week we're gonna try to go physics, and 1 week we're gonna go into biology. I don't know if you tell me one other subject here, so we find some things like that. But we'll write some formulas with things you guys can easily relate to, so that it's a bit more relatable. And then, of course, if you guys look in here on the output, I've also placed here. Why this not open? Why this not like me? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It's on there. There's an output. Yeah, here's this. So I've placed this time around, I've placed not just opening the question, but I tried to mirror CXC. So CXC, one of the paper is primarily multiple choice. You all know that already. So I've given you some multiple choice questions as well. And then, paper 2 is a mixture of short answer and long and structured question. So I've also done this. I'm going to try and mirror the exam as best as possible to help you to answer questions that are relating to your actual syllabus and exam. So if you look on here, these are some short answer. Please look at the mark scheme and determine how much you actually need to write versus here, structured 5 to 6 marks. So you have to write way more, plus give examples of the things you are saying. All right, so I've given you some of that. You are going to use the information we covered in class today, plus the programming to complete these tasks for me. I will be going in and checking the ones that you would have submitted from previous week if you not do it. If you not do it yet, please make sure you do it so we can actually go in and see something and feel like me engage in nation building. And I am helping to make the next best generation of Jamaica. All right. That said, guys, it's been a pleasure. If you have no questions for me, we can then sign off. Any questions? Anything? Everybody good?
No, sir.
Sir, I have one.
You have one? Go ahead. Go ahead with it.
Sir, for the integer and the float thing, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if you can use float, why
Mm-hmm.
would you need to use integer ever?
Okay. For example, with age, we don't classify people as being 12.5 years old. Right? I know that in reality you would be something point a month, but in strictly speaking from our conversational side, you're either 12 or 14. Nobody say you're 14.1. Right? So in that case, I would not use it in that sense. Um, Again, if I ask you how many apples are on the tree, I don't expect to hear 5.6 apples on the tree. Right, I'm expecting that. So it has to do with the context. So it's always the context. And that's why I keep asking questions like, can this be a decimal or can it be a whole number? So things that are obvious a whole number should be integer. That's how you demonstrate as a programmer that you understand what you're doing and you know why to use it. And when something obviously can be a decimal, then you use that. So it's all about being able to specify what type of data you are expecting. When you move on to more advanced programming outside of what you're doing in my class, you'll do things like class, and you'll have to create your own class, meaning your own type of data. All right. And yeah, so it gets a bit more technical then, but at simple base here is just being able to distinguish between different types of data. It's the very same thing with so in Python, yeah, there's another data type called character, and this might come on your exam as well. But in Python, Python kind of bring everything under the thing called string. So a single one should really be classified as a character, right? And you'd use in some language you probably use single quotes, and then in when it's more than one you use double quotes to specify a string. With Python, you just treat everything once it's character treated as a string. So it's all about being able to recognize when it is character, when it is string, when it is that, and it is that. Right? And there are way more other Boolean types. Sorry, way more other data types that will cover. Hope I answer the question. Feel like I'm rambling though.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, sound good. Any other question? Can't believe. Jade, you have to ask me a question before you go. Katrina needs to ask me a question. Make up one fast so we can get to go on. Make up a question and ask me.
Sir, which football team you support?
Oh, it needs to be about the subject, by the way, but Man City.
Waganis.
Actually, not. I was one of the first people supporting when we had people like Tevez, Aguero, when we used to lose everything. In fact, let me go back to Sean Gota in 2002. What are you doing? People used to laugh at me. Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, laugh me to scan till me ball because we are lose. Hey, listen, I'm coming from far. I'm one of the real ones. All right, cool. All right, Jade, Katrina, quickly ask me a question relating to IT quickly so we can go. Night a come.
Sir, when will we be learning how to build a website? There's my question.
That's your question.
Yeah.
Fabulous. We will try and fit that in some point into the course. I think the programming technique does require a lot more. Yeah, for you to embed and understand it. So yeah, I wanted to introduce that quite early. But as soon as maybe next 2 or 3 weeks, I want to try do a bit of Excel, a bit of database, and then touch a bit of that. So yeah, you will have lots of practice. So I definitely think by December. All right, cool. All right, Katrina, your question.
Sir, what do you think is the best coding language to learn?
Ooh, Python at your stage, definitely. I think so. Pascal is a bit old. Java is quite it's nice. Java is nice, but it's more object oriented, whereas Python is both procedural programming and object oriented programming. So this is kind of a bit more robust. It's simpler to learn as well because in Pascal you would have to be focusing on data type and declaring variables. So you know, like how Josh asked me a while ago about why we're using float versus integer and all that kind of stuff. In Pascal, he would be forced to actually declare before what data type he's using. Me think that not really necessary, and so does Python. All right. So yeah, Python is way easier, quite simpler. And if you learn it, you can go across and learn any language as long as you know the syntax. Awesome. Excellent questions. Thank you very much for your time, guys. All right, good. I told you I was going to take back my time for all of you where it take longer than the 5 minutes to come back. Good. With that said, guys, have yourself a blessed, good rest of the Saturday. Make sure you go to church tomorrow, praising the Lord, and go to school doing the devotion. And remember the golden rule: doing the work hard, and yeah, in the end, you will be relaxing. With that said, have yourself a great day. Take care.
Bye. Yes, sir. Yeah.